champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he is the DB of the show, rocking them stunners on y'all, man. So our listening audience, man, y'all might want to click over and check out the YouTube so you can see these two fly, fabulous men doing our thing. But we bring you back inside the locker room where we, we talk about it all, the topics in and around the game. MH, ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So, the locker room, right, man? This is where we got to get real with it. So, you really don't know what's going to come with your boy because we had to talk about this topic. I pick on my man MH. It's a loving pick, for his team. And now it's kind of, time to turn the page. So as you all know, MH is a Dallas Cowboy fan when we're talking football. And I am a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. You see the towel. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, black and yellow. Man.
Black and yellow. I should cue it up. Shout out to my man Wiz Khalifa. All right, so we just finally inked a deal with a certain quarterback, man. And I got some feelings about it. You clapping. All right, so let's start. You clapping. What's your thoughts? Is that like a sarcastic clap? Or what's the clap for it, man?
No, I'm happy for you, man. I mean, the Steelers is a rich tradition of really good quarterbacks, going back to Terry Bradshaw to Cordell Stewart to however you feel about Neil O'Donnell. Shout out to Neil O'Donnell securing a Super Bowl 30 win for the Cowboys. And in the late, not the late, but our latest. All-time great for Steelers quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger. So, it's an organ. I mean, and then I can't forget Russ, who's just on the roster recently. You've had Michael Vick, you've had Justin Fields. A lot of good quarterbacks have came through there, and so it only is fitting that Aaron Rodgers, wherever he's at in his stage of his career, goes to Pittsburgh. I like it.
And you like it for what reason? You think that he fits? Like, it's funny. You could joke, right? Like we've had long tenured quarterbacks, right? Just our franchises, respected and have done things right. But some say sometimes we hang on to people a little too long, right? We allow people to do their farewell tour and things like that. And we didn't really have a succession or a backup plan when it goes to moving off of, our quarterbacks, our legendary quarterbacks. And as of recent, moving off of Ben. So it kind of put us in a little bit of a pickle. I mean, I'm not excited. The way it was done, I guess, is what I'll start with. Because I think you had two quarterbacks in the stable, talking about Russ and Fields. And I think the way Fields started the season last year, the way he came out, and the reason we didn't continue to go with him is for a business and strategical move inside the organization to not lose that draft pick. I don't know. I just think it's kind of sad that you let that leave the building while you're negotiating, whether it was Rodgers ultimately, but there was a couple of other people that were kind of came up in the conversation of who we wanted. So I didn't like that initial part, right? Like you let both of them get out of the camp, Russell for whatever he is. I think that's a different kind of, that's a true quarterback. You bring two vets into battle. I think that's a whole different situation than bringing like a vet in and still allowing Justin to develop, heal, after going through, yet another coordinator and things like that. So that's what I'm going to start with. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I'll throw a little, I don't know about a rebuttal, but like looking at it from this angle, I mean, you play in a division with Joe Burrow, who you can argue is top 5 quarterback, and then Lamar Jackson, who I think is the best football player in football. And they're in your division. And so with respects to Justin Fields and even Russell Wilson to a certain degree, I think for the main thing that you don't want to do is you don't want your quarterback position to lose you a game, particularly if you're going to play those teams 4 times a year, right? And I think this is kind of getting back to the Steelers, maybe like original identity, which hasn't really been the case in the last, I guess, decade. Is, hey, we're gonna run the ball, we're gonna take care of the ball, and the quarterback's gonna make a play or two, and then we're gonna lean on our defense. You got T.J. Watt, who probably is the best defensive player in the game, and then obviously Michael Fitzpatrick is manning the secondary, and I think they have some really good corners as well. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they have some solid people in the secondary and really all across the board. So I think leaning on the defense is probably a good move for the Steelers, and I think Aaron Rodgers, even at his advanced age, can make a throw every now and then. You got DK Metcalf, who is you don't really want to guard him one-on-one. But at the same time, Aaron Rodgers can still make you a play or two if he needs to. I think we see. And then this is a married version of Aaron Rodgers, right? Apparently he's married.
Apparently, like, yeah, we don't like. You see the ring? You see the wife? Who's the missus? What's her name?
I don't know who she is, but I think it was just revealed on the day that we're recording. So we might get an unselfish Aaron Rodgers for this year. So I don't know. Marriage was good for me, so maybe it's really good for him when it comes to his overall outlook in life. So, and he's wearing his college number 8. I think there's all positives in the Aaron Rodgers train right now for you guys. I really do.
So oh man, no, like I definitely, I think I even did the ban, right? Like when we were talking about live shows and a couple other things, we put the ban on not even talking about. I wouldn't even say his name. If you can't tell the tone, I'm really salty that we're actually talking about this and I have to deal with this, right? And as a fan, I would rather have to eat my words, you know what I mean? Like, but then to go into this, other than thinking of how tragic this could be, right? Like, when they talk about other deals in the, NFL or heck, any trades, and then like all the other teams are laughing, like, oh yeah, like all the teams are kind of laughing at us, right? I feel in a sense because nobody wanted him. It wasn't like we got the guy that like everybody wanted.
Well, Sean McVay threw y'all bones. Said, yeah, we was kind of interested in him coming out to LA.
And that's because we were trying to get what's boy out of LA? What's Stafford.
Yeah.
So Stafford was a name that was kind of brought up. I want to say Cousins was brought up, and I'm glad that wasn't. I'm still pissed that we didn't pick up Shador. And I know, or I think, I can't say that I know, I believe part of the reason we didn't pick up Shador is because we were still courting Rodgers, right? And there was all these things that we had to do or we were doing because, Rodgers was butthurt about them picking up Love when he got drafted or just he wanted to control the whole situation. So for the fact that it took, this past week for him to sign, and the speculation and the talk that he was still looking for Minnesota, maybe to pull up on him or, last minute, make sure that McCarthy, all his health vitals checked out for Minnesota. Like, man, we're the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. Yeah. We're America's team. And I tried to slide down. But we're a brand that, like, we're not waiting for a prom date, man. We're not sleepless on Friday. We got options, right? So, I the way he did us was just, I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I mean, but everybody has a time to humble in life. That's just the circle of life, so to speak. There's a humble opportunity for everybody, and this may be the humble opportunity for the Steelers. Let me look at it this way for you. Let me say it this way.
All right.
Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre have had similar type of tracks in their career, right?
He's trying to make the same one, right? Like that even makes it worse. It's sad that you were trying to go to Minnesota, which would have been the exact same train.
Yeah, but listen to this though. So the year with the Jets for Brett Favre flopped. And you can argue Aaron Rodgers' tenure flopped as well. Maybe it's due to injury. I think Brett Favre had like a little arm thing that was going on where it's like his arm was dying or dead, or he ripped some tendons, and then
Man,
obviously
far dick pics, man. He was he was worried about some other
he was
stuff.
focused on some other stuff as well, as Aaron Rodgers was as well in New York, right?
Yes.
And I think history has shown with the Achilles injuries that the first year after the Achilles injury may be a little bit of a struggle, just trusting your body. But now this is year 2, full kind of off season of really training. Probably has regained whatever strength he has for a 41-year-old. And then the Minnesota Vikings version of Brett Favre was a lot better than the New York Jets version of Brett Favre. So, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers version of Aaron Rodgers can be successful. And let's throw in the fact that he's going to be playing on natural grass. I really think that matters. He played his whole career on natural grass in Green Bay. He went to play for artificial turf. First game he was out there, popped the Achilles.
4 plays.
Yeah.
8, whatever it was.
Yeah. Now he's back. He's back on natural grass. His feet will feel a little more comfortable, and he's playing. He'll have opportunities to do his thing. I think it's going to be a really good move for you. The only part that worries me, and is the only part, is in the entertainment industry or in the music industry. There was a recent album that came out that was one of our greats. Was one of our greats, the Carter 6.
Yes.
And from my own experience of it, I had to experience. It wasn't his best body of work, and maybe it's past. Maybe it's past his time. I don't know. And that is my one fear about Aaron Rodgers. Is like, I hope this isn't a Carter 6 moment for him. Hope he is, kind of still on his grinds for you. I really hope this is not that moment. But I do think you're going to get the best of Aaron Rodgers, whatever left of him.
We really love football on this show. Like, we love all sports, right? But we really love football. And I just don't need him messing up my season, right? Like, there's definitely the thing where people are like, oh, well, it's Tomlin. He's a good coach. And we're going to go, 500 again. But it's just like almost tank, right? Like, this is supposed to be a good quarterback draft coming up. So should we just start, looking for that?
But you got the national champion on your team. You got the quarterback that just won a national championship. In the fold, he's waiting, learning from Aaron Rodgers, Will Howard. He just won from Ohio State. He was the best he quarterbacked the best team in college football. I don't really get no better than that, right?
Anyway, this is a different app coming up. And we want a game changing. See, we need a game changing talent, right? Like someone that's, anyway, I don't even want to get on that.
You got DK Metcalf. That's game changing on the outside.
That's game changing. And so we're going to get DK Metcalf, right? But we lost what? Pickens.
That was a lot of energy in that room. With
a lot of energy.
That might not have been the best mix. So that's a smart move.
So
addition by subtraction.
No, 100%. So hopefully those two get together and can make something happen, right? They threw together off season. They know each other from some discourse or whatever.
Yeah.
So hopefully, those two, that's his, his blanket. And, you got, a good, decent tight end that's going to hold you down. But you let Najee go. So it's just going to be interesting to see how the offense gels. But you do. So now I'll give him his credit, right? The dude at the line of scrimmage is, one of the last of those breeds, right? That can manipulate things from the line of scrimmage. His cadence and the amount of offsides and, the things that he can do. So it just depends on how quick they can sync. So this is the thing where, you didn't have a whole off season with your team. So like the stuff he used to do with Tay, with Devontae, where they had like the signal and what he had with Cobb, and then just all of those receivers he had, being able to do those quick checks and things like that, that's going to take time. So the fact that he came, it was like he said, oh, man, he's doing a veteran move, right? Like, man, I don't want to go to ODAs. I don't want to go to preseason camp.
And doesn't have
ball.
And he doesn't.
with
He
a new
doesn't
team.
have to. You know, I credit Mike Tomlin because he's a guy that gets the best. I could tell Mike Tomlin play receiver as an athlete because he knows the temperament of how to empower his players on the offensive end, but also kind of as a leader, stand in front of the bus, so to speak, in the media. Like he knows how to navigate all those things. And personally, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has had a coach that is not scared of him. Mike Tomlin's not going to be scared of Aaron Rodgers, right?
No.
But, it's gonna be a mutual respect for sure. But
Right.
you won't get fear from Mike Tomlin, and I think that you're going to get and I think Aaron Rodgers knows that as well. And for that reason, I think you're going to really get the best version of Aaron Rodgers. And above all, he's not in his heyday. He was a guy that did not turn the ball over. He's not going to put you in bad positions.
Oh, he's check down genius, right? Like he's gonna look at the first one to read, and boom, out to the flat or out to that check down route, or throw it away, or he's gonna throw it away. So yeah, he's good with the ball. There's definitely
he's not gonna lose your team the game. And respects to Justin Fields, he's not that. And even respects to Russell Wilson, he's not that, right? At this current stage of his career. This dude's
and
not
that's the thing, right? You say Russ at his current stage of his career, and like, hold on, what are we talking about? Though we're talking about Rodgers at his current state of the career.
Aaron Rodgers is above average height, or maybe he's just an average height quarterback. He's a guy that can throw from all the arm angles. Everything that your favorite quarterback was doing, he was doing a few years ago. He's a guy, as you said, that's going to put you in the best possible play at the line of scrimmage. I think it's going to be a game that you're going to be able to win from the neck up. And remember, you got to play in a division where Lamar Jackson where the value of the possession is very important. Lamar Jackson is going to run the ball. They're going to give it to Derrick Henry. He's going to make his plays. And if you waste possessions with turnovers and things like that, you'll end up being down 2 or 3 scores with them, with Cincinnati or something. I mean, not Cleveland, but even maybe them, right? And I'm not 100% sure who their NFC team is, but I really do. And I'm not a Steelers fan at all. I just think Aaron Rodgers, as an adult in the room in that space, I think he could be really good. I really do.
Okay.
Is he going to be a Pro Bowl? Or y'all win a Super Bowl? Probably not, but I think you guys will be competitive. And that's that's what matters with the Steelers, right?
But that's the thing, right? Like, what's competitive? We've been 500 for the last 10 years, right? Like, I'm exaggerating, but Mike Tomlin's been 500, when he's not going to a Super Bowl or, going like 1 or 2 over 500. So that's not something that's surprising. So I don't know if Aaron Rodgers or, just his player, his security, you're saying he won't lose us the game, but I'm not seeing him win us the game.
You don't think Aaron Rodgers, by his play, can give you, an advantage in 1 or 2 games in the year? Based on what you saw last year from the quarterback position, where you may have lost 1 or 2 games just by inadequate quarterback play. And I don't think you're going to get that from Aaron Rodgers. And you got me defending Aaron Rodgers more than I really want to, because I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. But I think this was a good move for the Steelers. I truly, really believe that.
And that's the thing, right? Like, now that we talk about it, was it a move or was it something we settled for or we got, played out, right? Like, this is what we waited to get. Because it's like, did we go out and do things? And like, I hope something's, strategic in the background, stuff that I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And this is, whatever year. Because, like, all right, let's say he gets us to the playoffs. What are we doing, right? Like, we're not signing him for another year, are we?
This is a 1-year deal.
100%. And you don't know, and Rodgers doesn't even know if he wants to continue to play, right? Like, one of the things, as far as he was going through these decisions, he's like, hey, and I might retire. Like, put that on the table. So it's an interesting dynamic, man. And
it's a pivotal year for a franchise. I mean, okay, say you crash and burn, okay? And Aaron Rodgers doesn't play. Is Mike Tomlin back?
That's a question. I'm glad you said that, because our good friend of the show, Brennan, Mr. The Rubric, He's texting me as soon as the deal was done. And he goes, damn, Rodgers gonna get Tomlin fired. This is the last. He said, y'all gonna look like shit, and Tomlin's not gonna be with the Steelers after this year. And I'm like, I feel you. Like,
Yeah.
possibility. Because I mean, he's done a great job with locker rooms, right? Like, you want to talk about egos and spaces that he's worked with, right? Like,
My man had Antonio Brown functioning fairly well.
fairly well, right? And that's the thing what they said with Pickett, right? Like, there was some distractions, some things that had, but like, he handled it fairly well going on. And there's other things, right? Like during the kneeing where certain players didn't want to come out the locker room, and just all the antics. He's what they say is a player's coach, right? And not only that, he gets the respect of his players and the other coaches. He gets, like you mentioned earlier, he does get the best out of his players. So, but it could be Tomlin's last year, right? Like, he's had his daughters going to college. There was that speculation before, was he leaving? So this is going to be an interesting season for my Steelers on very various levels.
It is, man. But like, again, like the Steelers find their way to be competitive, whether that's 9-8 or whatever the case is.
Right.
I don't see them being bad, and I see Aaron Rodgers being good enough to get you a win or two when he needs to.
From your mouth to God's ears, man. So I'm going to stay positive, not too positive. I'm just going to attempt to enjoy my football season and not get so pissed on these Sunday mornings and Sunday nights and Monday afternoons and evenings. So, now they got him a moniker. Those such, I lived in Pittsburgh for, a few years and things like that. And not knowing that when I grew up, but, now it all made sense when I'm flying into, flying in and out of the airport.
Mm-hmm.
While the immaculate catch from Franco Harris is definitely statued in that in our airport, Mr. Rodgers has a huge exhibit, so for people that didn't remember,
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yes, sir. Right. That was filmed in Pittsburgh, and he was a son or a native of Pittsburgh, PA. So that's why people are starting to call, for our listeners that don't know that's why they're calling Aaron Mr. Rodgers. It's a little bit of an homage to the great humanitarian. This guy put together a legendary show that did a lot of things for breaking the color lines. I think he was the first to have a Black person, African American, on his show. I mean, he even did a scene where they put their feet in the same water where, we were drinking from different water fountains. So definitely dope tie for the city to attempt to embrace him, and the media people that kind of came up and calling him Mr. Rodgers. So maybe it's something for him to reinvent himself, right? Like, he had the discount double check, he had, other kind of monikers that he was attempting to go by. So maybe he could become, Pittsburgh's new,
Maybe. I mean, he told him his soul. He told you his soul told him to come there. So.
I didn't hear that. So let's jump into, because we brought it up on our live show. So hopefully, if you did miss that live show, that was the May live. We attempt to talk about, like we said, different topics. And, one of the things we're adding is our watch list. And someone brought up Aaron Rodgers' show, which I had not seen before our show. Now, have you seen it, MH?
No.
You haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
So, I watched it before the news because I was prepping myself for, I wanted to get to know who my star quarterback was going to be, my guy who's supposed to take us to the next level. And I think it was some perspectives that was gained from watching it. So I don't know how far to go into that since you didn't watch it.
No, preview a little bit, and I'll catch up. We can recap this on the live show, but I want to hear a little bit.
So, I think for me, because I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I think maybe I shared on the show, I don't even remember. But people that are close to me have heard this before. So when I used to work the Michael Jordan golf tour, I think you remember, if you heard that he used to come to Vegas all the time. And Derek Jeter took it over. So now it's the Turn Tour Derek Jeter Golf Classic here in Vegas. But when we used to have it, we would have different celebrities And Aaron Rodgers, of course, was hot at the time. We had him out for this celebrity golf tournament, and it's for like our big wigs. And this is when I was working with a different company at the time, and we would have this this tournament, and this dude would walk down the fairways so he didn't have to interact with guests and stuff like that. He wouldn't sign autographs, he wouldn't talk to people, and it's like that was who he kind of was, right? Like I don't know where that was in the kind of span of how he talked about people. And it's like, I get it. You want to attempt to protect your personal life and things like that. But it's like, bro, like we brought you out here for a celebrity golf tournament. Like we flew you out, we put you up. You're playing golf with some other top, you're having fun, you're drinking. You can't come up and talk, sign autographs. So that rubbed me the wrong way because, part of that event that, we planned, we put together, we interacted with a lot of the guests. So moving forward to this thing, I think the one thing that I guess I'll give him grace on was he had a battle. And, we all enter life and go through things in certain ways. And his battle was after he won the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So he attained a top of the mountain, esoteric kind of life-grabbing, achieving moment. And he couldn't figure out what was next. Like he almost lost the passion for the game because he became at a peak and then he wasn't really prepared or ready for all of the things that came forward. So that'll be kind of like the turning point. You know how like they usually have that cliffhanger or what, but that was the thing I got out of it. So I like, okay, I can see that. But my juxtaposition with that is that Tom Brady got to the top of the mountain several times, right? So what is it about you and Tom, that you're like, you couldn't find what that next step was, and maybe that's where ayahuasca came in, ayahuasca, however you pronounce it, But he is a man that is looking for his true meaning, and that's what he was talking about or attempting to present. Because you have to remember, everything we've always heard about him was like splatterings and news media, his family leaking stuff, TMZ or whatever. A lot of this was his perspective. So, and it really started after the injury. So he's been kind of chronicling, what his journey and what he's been going through.
And it makes a lot of sense to me. When you're, so to speak, expected to go, if you look at when he was drafted, he was expected to go maybe number one or whenever he was expected to go, and he fell to Green Bay, and then you're immediately behind a legend, right? And you're one of those cornerstone franchises, in the league, and then you're getting positioned whenever Brett Favre moves on. You're getting positioned as the man, and then the next thing you're the man in the NFL, and then you win a championship, and it's probably a whole lot of things that are happening in real time fairly quickly. At the same time, whatever your relationship is with your family, it's for public consumption at that point too, to really figure out who you are. So I don't know if that's an excuse for his actions or anything in your interactions with them, but to the certain degree, I could kind of understand how things in life move at a rapid pace, and maybe you truly weren't prepared for that. I think as men and as people in general, I think we're always trying to figure out, kind of what your purpose is to some degree. I mean, thank God for some direction, but I think we're all in that search a little bit. I just think that's how, not to get too biblical, I just think that's why I feel like I know God is real, because there is something more to this life and what we go through, that we always search for, my true calling or what. I mean, just kind of searching for God in a way. And so I can completely understand this. I mean, Jesus Christ went on the cross at 32, right? Or 33, however old he was, right? That's a lot of life. I mean, he experienced a lot in those times. And so, man, I'm not comparing Jesus Christ to Aaron Rodgers, but what I'm saying is, man, we go through some things, and sometimes we're just not equipped to handle it all, and be able to handle it all in the public light is probably something else to it as well, right? So that doesn't change my position about Aaron Rodgers, whether I think he's a cool or not cool, or whether he's going to be good or not. But it does, to your point, it gives some perspective. Now I'm actually going to really watch and lean into it and see what he's talking about to some degree.
Yeah. And
I
so
think
like
he thinks he's smarter than what he really is. He got to chill out with that, but
it's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
He does present himself in like, even when you see some of the recovery, like how he talks to the doctors, and it's like, yeah, just watch it, man. And whether or not we bring it back up or we do another show on it, maybe we could do something around a little bit before Thanksgiving, half the season. We can see how our Steelers are doing, and then maybe we can have a little bit of a different conversation. But like I said, it was something that I think for the most part, I gave grace, right? Because being able to hear someone else's perspective and how they interact and what they're going through. And I forget, I wish I could remember who kind of said this when we were having this conversation, was he had an opportunity to be that face of someone that was pushing a higher calling or finding yourself, because we talk about it all the time on this show and we see it so much with our interaction with athletes, is they don't know what to do after the game, right? Or they leave the game early because of an injury, right? And it's the hardest thing in life a lot of times is when something else feels like it's controlling your destiny.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have been the face of, hey, I'm doing the self-care, self-help, deeper thought, deeper meaning, right? But I think that kind of him being a enigma, air quotes, right? That I'm smarter than you, right? Like I'm trying to outwit you. Cause like even the COVID thing, they talked about the COVID thing. He was like, I did not say that I wasn't vaccinated. I said I was immunized.
Yeah.
And if you would have asked me a follow-up question, I would have been, so that's where you start to see that. So yeah, man, I think it's worth a look, man. When you got a little time, baby girls, sleep early to bed, or when you get your honey-do list done, I would definitely turn it on, man, and check it out.
Yeah, I will. And some to some degree, I think, it is the position he plays, right? They they probably get a little bit too much credit and they get a little too much blame. And so however you take that as a person,
Yeah.
it can maybe come out a different way. And so yeah, we'll see. We'll have to check in. So is this long hair Aaron Rodgers? Or is this short hair Aaron Rodgers? Did he talk about why his hair was long for a period of time? And
I don't know if he got into that. I'd have like that,
yeah, that's my uncle. Shout out to Uncle David. I know you're gonna see this, bro. I know when you say you grew your beard out, you was closer to God. You should have did that a long time ago. So maybe there's something to it.
Samson, boy, and I think there is some things, right? Because you saw that evolution of like he looked rough because he's in bushes and sticks and growing out, then to him have to go back to playing. So yeah, you kind of watch that and let me know. Get back to me on that one.
Yeah, I mean, him and his girl weren't wearing deodorant for a period of time, so I'm sure that has some mental effects on him as well. So,
well, yeah, like I said, him being married is one of those things that's just funny because I think that someone said something about that. I think Colin Cowherd mentioned it, and everybody just kind of laughed, like, "Oh, he's married." Just to say, same stuff that we did at the beginning of the show, and I think it just goes all intact to the whole name of the show, Enigma. So perfectly named. He's falling through it. He's playing. What do you say? Always on brand.
always on brand. He knows.
He knows.
He knows. Shout out to him.
There it is. So I guess the way I will leave this is, I'm happy that he didn't totally play us. So at least we have a quarterback. And we will see how the season goes.
Yeah. Yeah, prayers for good health for Aaron Rodgers or Mr. Rodgers or whatever he's going by at this phase of his career. And I hope your Steelers do well, except when they play the home team here or the Cowboys. So I will.
Fair respect. And wearing 8, that's interesting too. But his number's not retired, so we'll see. So anything for the people before we get out of here, man?
Nah. Looking forward to A-Rod and check us out on the live show coming up. Interested to hear your guys' opinions on how we feel about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. So
yeah, please comment And then once the season comes, pray for your boy.
You're going to be all right, man. You're going to be all right. I mean, at least it's a towel. If you need to cry a little bit, you could hide your face too. So it's versatile. You can celebrate and you could be sad all at one time.
No, we ain't going to celebrate. All right, the Super Bowl edition. Let's go. All right, man. Well, we're getting out of here, man. We want to thank you, the people, for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's show. It was a little tough, a little heavy for me to get through this show. But like that, I'm positive. I'm hopeful. Every year the season starts, we all go into the Super Bowl. We all have an undefeated record in week 1. So that's what I'm rolling with. Tomlin got us. We got a great coach, great staff, great tradition, one of the best defensive players. So positive, not over positive. So we'll see. But like I said, thank you guys for watching, man. I hope you enjoyed the show. Share the show. Like It Makes said, please give us comments of where you think the Steelers is going to be. We're going to make it to at least 500 again, or we're going to shock the world. Love to hear your comments on the social or here on the post or anywhere that you listen and follow podcasts. And like we always say, man, please, please, please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.